everyone, Alexa Donne here, and today I am talking about imposter syndrome in publishing. What is imposter syndrome? It's basically when you feel like you don't belong. It is an attack of confidence where a writer feels like there's been some huge mistake. They're not a real writer. They shouldn't be here. And let me tell you, every single writer suffers from imposter syndrome, and imposter syndrome never goes away. So if you're an aspiring writer and you're working on your novel and you haven't finished, you probably feel this all the time, that attack of confidence. If you're out querying, you feel it all the time, every time you get a rejection or even every time you get a compliment from someone. Imposter syndrome likes to strike even when people are being super nice to you. And when you get an agent and you get a book deal, when your book is out, when you're promoting your book, you're on panels with people, it always comes back. It never goes away. So this actually means that you, no matter what stage you're at, have something in common with all of your favorite writers. We all suffer from imposter syndrome in some way or another forever. I know that's really depressing, that it's this thing that's not gonna go away, but there are coping mechanisms that you can employ to kind of make it a little bit better and to battle it whenever it does crop up. I want to talk a little bit specifically about imposter syndrome during your debut year, because of course I just got through that. And even though I knew what imposter syndrome was and I was prepared for it, I am prepared for it, it's hit me in some unexpected ways. First of all, so you sign with your agent and then you go on submission and editors reject your book. You're constantly going, oh my gosh, my agent made a mistake. They shouldn't have signed me. They were having a bad day. I'm garbage. My book is garbage. It's terrible. And then it sells. And you have that temporary high, you feel great for a while, and then it sets in again. Every time you don't hear from your editor for an extra few weeks, or you get a bad review, or you don't get reviews when you think you're gonna get reviews, don't get me started on the weird timing of trade reviews. You are constantly convincing yourself, oh gosh, my publisher made a mistake. They're so going to regret buying my book. Oh, I shouldn't be here. I don't belong. It just hits you constantly in waves. And then of course, once your book comes out and then you're facing sales, it's the constantness of, no one actually wants to read this. My sales are okay, but they're not as good as that person's. Why am I here? I shouldn't be here. No one's ever gonna want to buy a book from me, ever again. But I am here to tell you, seriously, it does pass, and there are ways of dealing with it. So on to the helpful part of the video, which is, how do you cope with imposter syndrome? So the first thing is just to expect it and normalize it. I'm making this video so you know that it's a thing, and you know that you're not alone when you feel it, and you do feel it. I'm sure you're feeling it right now, or you feel it all the time. And let me tell you, the flip side of imposter syndrome is jealousy. And jealousy in publishing is a whole other topic that I do plan on covering. That is also a reality, and there are coping mechanisms for that. But imposter syndrome. So acknowledge that it is a thing, that it is healthy and normative to experience it, but don't let yourself wallow. So imposter syndrome, if left untreated, so to speak, can fester into a wound that can be so confidence killing that it is career killing. So the key is to pull yourself out of it. First of all, remind yourself that you are good enough, that you finished a book, or you can finish a book, or your idea is good, or your agent signed you for a reason, your publisher bought your book for a reason. There are readers who love your book. It doesn't matter if some people don't like your book, etc., so on and so forth. And another way to reinforce these good feelings, these reminders to yourself, these positive pep talks, is to surround yourself with writer friends. Specifically, it's best to surround yourself as much as possible, of course, with anyone that you have a connection with, but with people who are on your similar or same level. this isn't a call to leave friends behind, but when you do get an agent, for example, or get a book deal, confiding in people who are at kind of the same stage as you can really, really help, because they can double help normalize what you're going through, because they'll say, oh gosh, I feel that too. And especially if you're looking at a friend and going, oh, they have it all, they're so confident, etc. Talking to them about your feelings and hearing about their feelings can be a huge relief to hear, oh, they feel this too. Also, when you have these friends and they're critique partners, meaning they've actually read your work and they like your work and they like you, you can get specific pep talks from these friends. So if you're feeling, oh, my writing is garbage, I'm never going to be as good as that person, well, it's then your critique partner who can say, I love your book. You know I love your book. I love these characters. You're just having a bad moment, a bad day. Feel your feelings, but I got you. That can be so helpful for pulling you out of imposter syndrome. Now, if you are on the post-agented side and this is happening to you post-book deal especially, don't be afraid to check in with your agent. Now, we don't want to dump all of our neuroses on our agents. I mean, that I definitely keep a lot of mine to myself. I either put it on YouTube or I share it with my writer friends. But every once in a while, I do have to check in with my agent to say, is this normal, this thing that I'm observing and these kind of spiraling thoughts I'm having, negative thoughts about not belonging or things being wrong, going wrong? I'll talk to my agent and my agent will be the one to give me context, professional context from the industry that enables me to take a deep breath and go, I'm blowing this out of proportion. I'm interpreting things from data that aren't quite accurate, and I'm gonna be okay. Similarly, you can also check in with your publisher. If you're nervous about something specific, you can talk to your editor or your publicist or so on. Use professionals in the industry to reality check you, essentially to remind you, well, A, that they like you because they're talking to you, and B, that everything is okay. And then just a general practical tip is distraction. When you're feeling imposter syndrome and you just have one of those days where you're just really digging in to the negative feelings, take a break, unplug. Don't touch your book, try not to think about publishing, and step away. Watch something on Netflix or go out with friends, maybe not writer friends, because sometimes it's helpful to talk this out with writer friends, and sometimes it makes it worse. You always have to judge, like, how much into the imposter syndrome spiral are you? And do you need to talk it out with writer friends, or do you need to pull back from it and do something completely unrelated to writing and publishing? Something fun, something that you enjoy, or even it could be something separate that you're good at, that you can remind yourself, oh, I'm a good talented person. I have other things going for me, and just kind of distract yourself so you're not thinking about publishing and you're not thinking about writing. And I promise you 90% of the time, like the next day, it's going to be better. And really just remind yourself, your favorite author, so some huge best-selling author, has experienced imposter syndrome, is experiencing imposter syndrome. Trust me, it happens. A couple examples of ways in which imposter syndrome can hit, especially post-publication, that you might not have thought about. For example, if you're a YA writer and you end up in kind of an adult publishing space, imposter syndrome can hit hard, especially if anyone's kind of being snobby and turning their nose down at you. There can be imposter syndrome within genre. Let's say you write science fiction or fantasy, or even a specific kind of contemporary. Any author can end up comparing themselves to the titans of the genre or to other authors and feel like they're just not good enough at how they do things. Or even, get ready for this, when it comes to best-selling authors, either an author who is among best-selling authors who is not a bestseller, imposter syndrome, or an author can be a bestseller, but maybe wasn't as high on the list, or only was a bestseller once, or they know about sales and they know they haven't sold as much as a certain author. I know it sounds absolutely bonkers to you, and also possibly petty, because when you don't even have an agent, you're like, I can't believe people are feeling crappy about not being a bestseller enough. I know. But the point is, every single author has a moment where they feel like they don't have a right to be here, to belong here. They're not a real writer. And that really brings us all together. We all essentially waffle between slight megalomania and confidence in thinking we're awesome, which is how we push through books and finish things, and crippling self-doubt and imposter syndrome, which can strike at any moment. But you're gonna be okay. Try some of these coping mechanisms. My number one is make writer friends, good friends, and confide in each other. Let me know down below in the comments if you have any thoughts about imposter syndrome, or your own tips and tricks, or any questions. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, I post new videos 2 to 3 times a week, all about craft and writing, the industry, the ups and downs of being published, traditional publishing, and especially YA and YA books. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, happy writing, guys.